Hey there, everyone. Ervin here with a breakdown for the newly released EXO 49 Emancipator exosuit. As you may recall, I predicted the future with my video the other day, talking about how the Emancipator had a serious issue with its durable damage. This future has unfortunately come to pass, and the mech is definitely lacking on its ability to clear heavy targets from the board. Is there anything redeeming here, or have we received yet another mediocre edition? Let's take a look at the technical specifications, target effectiveness, and damage breakpoints to find out, shall we? As always with these breakdowns, all testing and thoughts on viability will be derived entirely from Difficulty 9 Helldive, giving you the most accurate information on how the gear holds up against the game's greatest challenges. So, the Emancipator is a new mech suit similar to the previously released Patriot, sporting instead dual mounted autocannons, or at least some cannons pretending to be the cannons we know and love. More on that later. Anyone who's piloted a mech suit in Helldivers 2 probably feels like they're a bit more flimsy than you would expect, especially considering the automatons are capable of putting together weapons of war that casually walk off some of our most destructive ordnance. So, why is that? Well, the Emancipator has a total health pool of only 600, with all of its individual parts translating 100% of the damage they receive to this pool. The main health pool also has an armor class of 3 with 100% durability, which, while that does reduce the damage of the individual hits by quite a lot on average, the mech cannot heal the way Helldivers can and will be worn down rather rapidly due to its large size and lack of maneuverability. The main cabin of the Exo has 100% durability, class 3 armor, and 600 HP, which is the same as the main, so these are likely one and the same. All explosive damage received anywhere on the body besides the cabin is redirected to this health pool, and should this pool reach zero, the mech will be destroyed. The legs have only 250 health, but will not immediately cause your mech to cease functioning. Both legs have 250 health, 85% durability, explosive immunity, which just means explosions are redirected at your total health pool, as I said, and only armor class 2. The legs, when destroyed, however, will cause your mech to lose 15% of its mobility per destroyed leg, and although your mech will not be destroyed, should one of your legs lose all of its HP, remember all the damage to that leg is being transmitted to your main health pool. With a lower armor class and less durability, this actually turns the leg of the exosuits into a weak point, as it's not wrong to say that damage to the legs causes more damage to the cabin than being shot in the cabin. Well, besides explosives. I mean, who made this? Anyway, the arms break all of the rules we've just established by being completely separate entities that translate none of the damage done to them to your main body. Each arm has 100% durability, 600 HP all on its own, and class 3 armor. Although when they are destroyed, you lose access to 50% of your firepower, this creates a viable strategy involving using your arms to shield your cabin from damage. Chargers charging at you, for example, will normally deal 500 damage with an armor pen of 7 to any vehicles it impacts. However, the arms are not considered a vehicle, unlike the cabin, for absolutely no explicable reason, allowing you to shoulder check the charger with your guns receiving minimal damage. Just make sure to move away afterwards so you don't receive the follow up stomp. There are also many other little bits that have health values on the mech, but they are purely decorative and only there to be destroyed for immersive purposes like the gas cans. If any of that information was confusing for you, by the way, I highly recommend checking out my previous video on the subject of damage on how it works, which I'll be leaving in the description down below. Handling wise, the Emancipator is able to move relatively quickly, keeping up with Helldivers at full sprint despite how the walking animation may feel. The stability of the mounts, however, is absurdly bad. I don't know why this is, but watching your aiming bubble moving around while inside of the Emancipator looks an awful lot like the stability of a Helldiver with a broken arm. This makes precision shooting extremely difficult as a result. At the very least, the actual recoil the guns experience is very minimal while firing, which allows you to stay on target during sustained fire for the most part, as long as the target is large enough, that is. As was the case with the Patriot Exo, the Emancipator is immune to gas, fire damage over time, EMS, and acid. Note this does not mean it tanks flamethrowers, it definitely doesn't do that. meaning you can freely move through these surfaces without issue. You can use this to your advantage often during defensive missions, as any charger stuck within an EMS field is free to a good stomp, which on the keyboard and mouse can be activated with the F key. This stomp deals 200 damage with an armor penetration of 4. However, because of the way the stomp travels through the charger's hitboxes, it damages the leg underneath the heavy armor regardless, killing a charger in 3 stomps. This combination, while funny, is often unnecessary and likely not very practical, but fun to know regardless. Now let's talk about the important part, the guns. The dual-mounted autocannons on the Emancipator deal 300 ballistic damage with an armor penetration of 5 and 150 explosive damage with an armor penetration of 3. That explosion then deals its full damage to any target within 1.5 meters of where the shell lands. 99 to 1% for anything within 1.6 to 4.5 meters of the blast radius, and a heavy staggering effect to anything within 4.6 to 6 meters of the blast zone. The stagger value is set to 40, meaning even large enemies such as Hulks and Titans will experience a flinch from the impact, while all others will receive interruptions to their attacks and movements. Now for some bad news. The ballistic damage, as I was worried about, does in fact only carry 60 durable damage. Durable damage being the important number for any hard armored enemies, typically that you would want to use this mech to destroy. This makes its anti tank damage anywhere between underwhelming to non existent, as we'll get into later. Moving on, we only get 75 rounds per gun, which, to be fair, is twice the shots of an autocannon turret at 36, but with our 10-minute cooldown and maximum of 2 uses of this stratagem per mission, it's easy to feel like this just isn't sufficient as far as the firepower game is concerned for the opportunity cost. And opportunity cost ends up feeling like the mech's greatest downfall, as any mission beyond a 15-minute duration is likely to leave you feeling like you really didn't get your money's worth bringing a mech instead of something you could have utilized for the entire game. With these 75 rounds per gun and 2 barrels per mount, the Emancipator is able to dispense Liberty at an RPM of 120, or 2 shots per second. Firing both arms together would, of course, mean firing at an RPM of 240 or 4 shots per second. This brings the Emancipator's raw DPS up to 600 ballistic damage and 300 explosive damage per arm, which is an absolute ton if it wasn't for our 120 durable DPS per arm and lack of ammo sustain. This makes the Emancipator best suited for enemies lacking durability percentage of class 4 armor or less. These cannons do thankfully at least have 30 demolition force, which is 10 more than what is necessary to destroy spawners. This actually gives the Emancipator an interesting niche as one of the best methods for clearing out bug-based blitz missions, as it brings more than enough firepower to eliminate every spawner on the map all on its own. This does at least give this mech a nice niche to fall back on. But don't fall back too far, because just like the Patriot, Arrowhead has disallowed the Emancipator the ability to aim any further than 30 degrees downward, meaning taking the high ground is a quick way to be completely helpless. Why? Because R&D is having a laugh at our expense. I don't know. In what is likely the most anti fun decision that's been made yet, you are not allowed to equip more than one mech in your loadout, meaning you are disallowed to ever run a full mech pilot build. If you just wanted to play the game in the mech because that's what was fun for you, despite it being far from optimal, well, you're out of luck, and I don't have a good reason as to why. Enemies spot the exosuits from extremely far away, sometimes even 100 meters out, so don't expect to get anything done beyond fighting every enemy you see while taking these things for a ride. We'll then round things off with one final tip here that if you'd like the flashlight to turn off, it's the X key. Don't know if this is mentioned somewhere, but good to know as it can be obnoxious in the fog. That does it for the technical specifications, so let's talk about some breakpoints. This is where a lot of the disappointment sets in, if I have to be honest. While you'll see a pattern of the Emancipator decimating medium to small enemies with relatively acceptable breakpoints, you'll then be saddened by its performance against heavies overall and be questioning if you're getting your money's worth bringing it often. With that being said, let's start with the automatons. All light bots in the game are destroyed effortlessly as you would expect here, even falling should they be within the immediate blast radius of the cannon's explosive AoE. This can lead to some pretty satisfying multi-kills, I have to admit. Scout Striders thankfully go down in just one hit to the upper portion of their front plates. However, it's not difficult for this to end up taking two instead, making this a genuinely pretty good answer to them overall. But man, I really missed them just dying in one hit. Devastators will take an average 2 hits to anywhere on their body besides the arms, and 1 hit to the head. Although, good luck landing those consistently with the arms moving around so much even when stationary. With the heavy stagger effect, you'll be shredding through Devastator packs with relative ease, with enough durability to typically see it through. But you'll be out of ammo in no time as a result if you keep doing this. Berserkers go down in 2 to 3 shots anywhere but the arms, or again, 1 shot to the head. The heavy stagger effect against them makes keeping the packs at bay pretty easy, which is genuinely pretty nice, I would say. Gunships end up being a pretty good target for the Emancipator, giving it yet another niche as a great tool for pushing double fabricators. You'll be able to take these down in 4 hits to the main body or 3 hits to any thruster. Just be sure to not split your damage, as again, gunship thrusters translate none of the damage received to their main health pool or any other thrusters. So pick a target and stick to it. Tanks and cannon turrets feel terrible in the Emancipator. Not only can either of these one shot you, but you cannot damage them from the front due to both your explosive damage and ballistic damage being completely nullified entirely by its Class 6 front plate. Although, if by some miracle you have a flank on it, or it's a cannon turret you've come up on, you can destroy these through the sink on the back in just 4 hits. Hulks are not bad. Should you get a flank on them, you can destroy their back heat sink in just 3 hits. If by some chance you manage to line up the shot on the eyes with the terrible stability, it's just 2 shots. And if you can't find the headshots, it's gonna run you 16 hits to the main body to bring it down, which can be quite taxing, but at least it goes down, I suppose. Factory Striders are painful. You're looking at 13 perfect eye shots on the head, 26 shots to the head itself, or finding an angle on the door below to hammer away, which will result in a relatively fast kill if you do manage to pull that off. The Emancipator can, of course, also destroy those front gatlings, but it's gonna deal no damage to the cannon on top, making it easy for the cannon to snipe you out should no one be able to assist you with these. Recommend getting someone to help you with this. That does it for our automatons, so how about the bugs? The Emancipator decimates the majority of the terminid forces, but I found it difficult to be excited by this fact when my primary or cluster bombs could have done the exact same thing. What I really want out of a stratagem with such limited utilization is going to be a heavy answer, and in its current form, I can't say the Emancipator did not disappoint me on that. So let's talk about the specifics. Hunters, warriors, scavengers, and even hive guards can all be eliminated in just 1 hit from the Emancipator, although the hive guards will more typically take 2. This feels relatively okay, especially because the splash damage does, at its epicenter, meet the requirements to eliminate hunters in one go. But that ammo count is going to dwindle pretty fast when utilized against chaff. Brood commanders, hilariously, due to their 60% durability on their head hitbox and explosive immunity, take 2 hits to decapitate from the Emancipator despite only having light armor, further showing why the 60 durable damage feels horribly out of place with this thing. Otherwise, it'll take 2 to 3 hits to the body on average to bring down, which can be a bit expensive. Shriekers obviously die in 1 hit, however, their nests are also vulnerable to the Emancipator. Oh, wait, no, yeah, don't. They're, of course, durable, meaning you'll be dumping way more ammo than you probably want to clear these. Recommend using something else, same as Spore Towers. Nursing and Biospears are thankfully a pretty big win for the Emancipator. Their heads have neither the armor or the durability to tank shots from the cannon, so they go down in just 1 shot, or 3 hits to their squishy bodies. Pretty comfortable. Now for some bad news. Chargers take 10 shots to the head, or 8 shots to a leg, or 5 shots to the rear, which will cause a bleed out, killing them that way as well. You can also stomp a leg out from under a charger in 3 hits, as we talked about earlier, but this is dangerous without EMS. Overall, not terrible performance, but the low durable damage is really put on display here. For the Bile Titan, the painful point I made in my original video does in fact stand true, requiring 25 hits to the head in order to claim a kill over just one, making the Bile Titan a very difficult foe for the Emancipator to take on alone. Likely best if you are utilizing one of these, say, for the purpose of destroying every nest on the map, which is a strong suit, for you to be bringing an armed escort with better anti-tank weapons than you have, as the Emancipator just isn't built for this. Well, that's it for our breakpoints. So, how good is it? Well, in my opinion, it's a bit underwhelming, but overall mediocre, I suppose. A bit better than I expected it to be for sure, but overall, it did disappoint me heavily due to its very restrictive, low durable damage, causing most of the targets that I would have preferred to take on with it to require far too many hits for my liking, or simply receive no damage at all. While it does destroy chaff very easily and can eliminate Devastator packs as a plus, it's hard to get excited for this when it has just 150 rounds to go around in total from the drop with no way to get more. 2 uses per match, and a 10-minute cooldown between each, making the time you have where you feel the potential of the Emancipator pretty fleeting at best in all missions beyond a 15-minute duration. It does shine particularly in the area of expertise when it comes to easily completing bug blitzes, so I'm likely to utilize it in my loadouts there. But outside of very short missions, I feel I'm unlikely to utilize the Emancipator much in the future. I would hope they dial up the durable damage to at least be half as much as the other autocannon variants, or improve its ammo economy. There is still at least much more story to tell for vehicles in Helldivers 2, as we do not yet possess any stratagem upgrades that affect vehicles. This could potentially change my opinion of these stratagems in the future should the vehicle bay release. But until then, that's all from me. So, thank you for watching till the end, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
And now, another helpful tip from General Brash.
Vin has brought to light the exact reasons our would-be badass mechs feel subpar. For this, I am ordering all active Helldivers to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Failure to do so will result in your Emancipator exploding when you turn right. Brash tactics! Use them or die trying.